How are people, audience in here? Fletch, Brad, Corey, how are you guys?
Never better.
Doing good.
What's up?
Not much, dude. It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting month and year. You guys has it been good business this week or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been good.
What you working
All
on?
steady. Contracts going
Dude,
out.
you're freaking busy, bro. I woke up and there was something done that I thought we were doing today. Thank you.
Well, it's not done. You're supposed to read over it, but yes,
It's
I didn't
done more than I
track
thought it was when I woke up, dude. So
I didn't want to sit on a call and listen to you breathe in my ear.
Exactly. Talking type, dude.
Yeah. So
talking type. So Fletch and I started talking actually about this earlier, and it's been a really interesting link update. So I'm going to go through this post real quick that Google released before they kind of announced, or when they announced that they had been rolling out this link update and this merge and stuff. It's called a reminder on qualifying links in our link spam update. And it goes into the best practices about avoiding link schemes and qualifying links appropriately, essentially marking them up. You know, right here it talks about marking up sponsored links, affiliate links as sponsored links. There's some talk about sponsored guest posts. So the sponsored markup for anything that's a guest post. Basically goes into how they're updating all the time to fight link spam and how they want us to make sure that we mark up correctly and that they might be issuing manual actions for websites that are not marking up correctly, which this
is specifically to webmasters who own websites that are linking out. I mean, this is the stuff that happened, you know, probably 4 or 5 years ago to sites like Inc. And, you know, a lot of these Business Insider that had do follow links on their sites. And then Google started, you know, letting them know because there was a lot of people getting guest posts on there and getting these do follow. So they were under threat of getting sandboxed if they didn't start no following their links. So this is another update that they're specifically calling out people, I think, that are running websites that are selling links on them or selling guest posts. So, you know, they just want more.
What's interesting, yeah, you're spot on. And what's interesting, people have been reading what they've said, and they are saying in here, like, we'll read this part directly. And so people are missing kind of an angle that they have here. So right here, it says, as part of our ongoing effort to improve ranking for product-related searches and better reward high-quality content, when we find sites failing to qualify affiliate links appropriately, we may issue manual actions to prevent these links from affecting search. And our systems might also take algorithmic actions. Okay, so I've been looking at data all over this for days now, and what's interesting is we have another situation where, and this is what Fletch and I started talking about, is we have another situation that's affecting white hat website owners actually more than someone using gray hat tactics, right? And there's very specific drops that I'm seeing with people affected by what just happened and in very specific markets, okay? And in those very specific markets, someone made a really good point earlier that there's other metrics that should offset those markets and the link losses and the losses that these legitimate businesses are feeling. Like other things that have been rolled out lately should come back into play and kind of even everything out. However, with people that are doing things outside of those markets, when they have these losses, they're kind of disguised by everything else someone might be doing. So you don't see everything. So again, like when they released Penguin, right? When they released Panda, when they released all of these things, they did things that actually hurt a lot of gray hat people, but I would say a lot more people that are white hat are affected much more deeply because they think they're doing things properly for their market, right?
Well, it's because they're doing things the way that Google said to do them for the last 20 years. Is like you get new content, go out and share it.
Right.
And so now you have them coming after, like, even the you know, they're switching the whole game up as far as backlinks. And again, this goes back to point to just let everybody here know that why are they doing this is because backlinks work.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's where they started.
That's a very important point.
Google started because they knew a better way to organize websites in a search engine based on quality was to essentially count their backlinks, and that was the first algorithm that they put out, is essentially counting backlinks.
So previously, the previous updates, like there's been multiple link spam updates over the last month, right? Over the last 30 to 40 days, there's been at least 3, right, that they've announced. And one of the first ones affected more of the people that are using like kitchen sink spam in their tiers, where the false and the created fake authority was affected, not so much by being penalized, but that other websites that had real authority, that had real EAT going on, whatever you want to call this, and these metrics that make this up, those kind of took over some of that assert there. This one actually is definitely more affecting people that are legitimate. From what I've seen, they're the ones that are being affected more because they are doing things properly from the way that they've known in the past, right? Not necessarily, they're not proper for today, but over the last few years, they've been proper. And the point that's really important to look at in there, it says we may take algorithmic action. And I will say that what I am seeing is this is not, I expect some sort of an uptick with manual actions. Like I've had those manual actions saying, look, put the no follow on, put the sponsored on. We've demoted your site until you have done this, and then you can correct it and fix it. What I am seeing right now is a situation where the link sellers their websites are growing. Their websites are up 30, 40%, while the link buyers that buy directly from that website that is now growing are dropping 30 to 40, 20% like that. So you have an exact opposite reaction. Yes, Clint's saying this properly. That's not necessarily true though, because the ones that are giving them out are actually increasing in rank. The ones that are accepting the links are decreasing in rank. And what's happened is that they've used things as flags in the past, right? And so these flags have triggered, manual review. And once you get that manual review, you're in deep shit. Well, some of that stuff that used to be done by a manual reviewer is now rolled into the algorithm directly, right? And so, yes, Clint is absolutely right. They are looking at people that are selling the links, but the verification of the fact that they're saying it's not a penalty is very obvious in these profiles, because the ones that are selling the links, obviously people want those links, right? They're good links. So those sites are actually ranking more. The ones that are buying those links where they've been identified, and I'm not saying that all link sellers are being identified. I really do mean if you are doing it right and you're gray hat, not white hat, you literally are in a better shape than if you've been doing it in a white hat manner. Like it's a better place to be in being gray with this one versus being a white hat.
They do suck though, Clint. Yeah, I would
agree. What's that?
They do suck.
Well,
Clint's last comment. Yeah, they suck.
Basically, Mike, then to throw in to understand this and to like really unpack it. What you're saying also is that sites that have good external linking strategies that make sense, that your external linking strategy is now a significant portion of your on-page SEO.
Yeah, well, see, that's exactly right, Corey. You hit on it. So, like what Clint is saying, they're not targeting this whatsoever. They're not targeting a link type. They're not targeting this or that. Their recognition of what certain sites are doing, what certain boilerplate patterns are there, is just rolled in algorithmically worldwide at this point versus flagging certain things. And there's very big specifics that we will talk about potentially tonight on the webinar or in September, but the data is just like blatantly obvious in certain markets, and it's very interesting because it's going to be missed by a lot of people are going to miss directly what happened because they're not in particular spaces or particular
worst case, Mike. Say they miss it. How do you see their sites panning out?
If they're doing things like we do it in the US, like Clint does it, people normally do it here in the US, they're not going to have a big issue. I mean, they might have some flux, and they might see some things go down. They might see some lost rankings, but it's going to look just like everything else that we're seeing when it comes to lost rankings. To be very clear, this is just another piece of the whole search, basically. It's just another algorithm. It's just another piece of math that's rolled up in there that is now just a piece of what they can see. Just like they see things faster over the last couple cores that rolled worldwide, they just rolled more shit into it, you know? That's why better to pay more of a premium to get a proper guest post on a real traffic site versus an obvious guest post. I will say the obvious guest post that's a PBN potentially is not going to have issues. So I'm not saying that get it on a real site. That real site potentially could have more issues than the PBN or the MiniNet site or the edit. Like, that's not what I'm saying, okay? To be very clear, it has nothing to do with if it's real or not. It's a matter of understanding what they can see, what they can detect, how their math works. It's not about real versus not. It's not even about traffic versus not, to be honest.
Do you think are you saying that the site's traffic isn't beneficial?
I'm not saying that the site's traffic isn't beneficial. I'm saying that the site's traffic is beneficial to the person giving the link away. It's not beneficial to the person buying the link. So if the person's buying the link,
if I were to go out and buy links, then I shouldn't care about the site's traffic that I'm getting a link from.
What's that?
If I say I want to go out and buy a link, usually I look at the site's traffic. Should I not worry about that anymore? Is that what you're saying?
No, I would still worry about it. It really has nothing to do with with anything like that. It has to do more with the way they understand language, the way they understand markup, the way they understand patterns, dude. Like, so if you're doing certain like linking tactics that we don't necessarily talk about on here, it's not a huge effect to anything in our campaigns, to be dead honest. But there are people that it's affecting drastically. Like, we're talking about targeted queries that are money queries, like down 30, 40 positions, like over like 2-3 days. And they're still rolling this out. So this is like still not the end of what we're seeing. And so this probably will reset itself, but it's just interesting how they've taken that direction. And I think it's very interesting how advanced they have become in that little particular like niche area.
The thing that I've noticed talking to various students and stuff, and I've read it before, like in a downturn. So let's just say this is like when an update rolls out and your site goes down, just imagine like your business is going down, just like in an economic downturn. Right. In an economic downturn, businesses typically do one of two things. They either do more of the same, they pour money into the same stuff that might not be working, or they get scared and do less of the same. And I feel like from a linking perspective, that's what most SEOs do. They're like, fuck, my rankings went down. More links. And then they pour on the same type of links that they've been pouring on, and don't move the needle at all. Or they're like, fuck this. And they don't, yeah, it always is. And they just stop linking entirely, which I typically do because it's cheaper. Back when I was, listening to quite a few gurus trying to scare me into buying their products and stuff. Fuck, what do I do now? So what would you suggest? Switching up. Say you experienced the typical 25% downturn. What would you do? It can't be.
If you're being affected here drastically, you need to change your link building practices. Anyone that has commented right here, right now, I would not tell them to do anything differently whatsoever, right? If you have not already seen, this is good. Yes, he's sexy. Yeah. Super sexy. And so where was the one that saying a lot of guest post sellers are basically selling PBN? Oh, it's absolutely true. A lot of guest post sellers are selling PBN, and I'll still buy that. Don't get me wrong. If it's the right site, I'll still take it.
Right, but the thing is, like, I've looked at their lists, and so some of them got smart, and they were in like several of the vendors that I used to use. I said, I need the IP addresses of all these sites. So they started putting a list on there, and you'd have a block of like 100 of them sitting on the same list.
Oh yeah.
On the same block. And I'm like, okay, so these are all your sites. And and so I mean, you look at the cost of some of those. Let's say $80 or 120.
Dude, $80.
They call it a guest post site in order to charge exorbitantly more for their guest post as opposed to for their PBN links as opposed to a real guest post.
You know,
if you're really doing
here's
outreach,
the thing, if you're gonna do if you're gonna do that, like sell it for the right price and say, guys, this is like a bottom tier network, but I might still buy that somewhere in my profile. You know what I mean? Like I might still have use for that. Let me know if that's what you got, because I'll tell you, the people that I know, and I think Clint's one of these people. I don't really talk to Clint a lot about link building, but the people that I know that have got 50,000 kitchen sink spam links at the bottom of their tiers, they're not feeling this thing. Like, not at all. You know, like it's just, if you are being affected here, I really would look at how you're building your link profile. If this has affected you in any manner, this like July 26 link update spam thingy or whatever, 2021. Is
that the official name for it, Mike?
What's that?
Is that the official name? The
July 16, that's the official name for Google link spam update is here.
I think
there we go. Link spam update starts the 26th of July 2021. There we go. And so if it's affecting you, I think that you really do need to look at how you're building links. I highly doubt the people that are commenting in here really have anything to worry about, and but it's interesting that they have now gone, like there's posts that certain like big names in the link building space have posted over the last week or two that have tactics that talk about well, when you get flagged, then the manual action, this. Some of that stuff is now in the algorithm, is what I am saying. That's the big takeaway here.
Some of the ways that they end up doing that is like you know, I mean, nowadays they say that you don't really need to file any kind of disavow because they are automatically able to detect these kind of links. And what happened when you file a disavow is that the algorithm would go in the next time they crawled it, they would just assign a no follow to that link that was on there. So is this something that they're doing automatically, you think, Mike, that they're going to just start putting no follows?
Yeah, no, this is definitely like, I believe what they're saying in this one, where they're just saying that like we're going to we're discrediting this. Like what I am seeing on many sites in particular markets, the patterns are all right there. The loss is all right there. It's very interesting that they have assigned it to the algorithm. It's not surprising. I mean, I honestly think, like what Clint said,
devaluing links for a long time.
This is, and to be very clear, we have an international audience. A lot of people in the U.S., I think we've been seeing this for longer than 2 months. You know, like in particular markets, very easily. But
Mike, we have a question from one of the ladies in the audience from Facebook.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, no, we haven't talked about that.
So essentially, I think I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to keep clips of this on my personal cell phone for a very, very long time. So this will be very interesting. I really wanted it to be wrestling, but like Greco-Roman, like with just a diaper and oil.
I don't.
That sounds like sumo.
Yeah, that's sumo.
Yeah, like sumo, but I want to see like Olympic. You know, let's go Olympic style. So we got no diaper. We're just going with oil.
That's Olympic style.
I mean,
since you watched
the original Olympic Games. I don't mean now. Dude.
That's right.
Let's do it. I'll
I'm gonna get you, Craig. I'm gonna get you.
For everyone wondering, though, I believe that fight, the ass kicking that Craig is going to receive, is going down on October 2nd. We should have more information on the webinar tonight and tomorrow for anyone that wants to watch that and see me get hit maybe 1 or 2 times, and then see Craig get hit about a couple hundred. So, you know, you'll get to see both of us get hit, but Craig's just going to get hit quite a bit more. Unless he gives up early, then I won't have time to get all of those flurries in. So it's just,
Yeah, and this is a good point that Clint makes, because there are some fun things, like if you're on the side of where you have an affiliate program that people are pushing for you, there are ways to leverage what's happening to rank yourself. And the people that know what they're doing there still are not having issues with this. They can still get benefit out of those affiliate links. So there's a lot going on here that they've started to kind of look at and throw into the algorithm versus flagging for a manual review. Like I said, again, most people in here, I don't think are going to have any issues with it, to be honest. So I do know people specifically that are, unfortunately.
Hey, Mike, have you done any specific tests with some of that link markup that you were talking about with, promotion or affiliate markup?
No, I have not done any specific tests with anything when it comes to affiliate and sponsor directly to the site. And I'm not even looking at data for affiliate programs at this point right now, because we're still, this is a 2-week rollout, I think, at least.
Also, affiliate is a smaller portion of our portfolio.
We do as a person, I'm talking about for affiliate, I mean someone that is the product ranking with the affiliate links. So like if I have a CBD product and I've got a bunch of people pointing to me through an affiliate program directly, 301ing through some sort of tracking to me, this is what some of the stuff that they're targeting is. And so trying to find ways to filter that more cleverly is beneficial right now. But it's something that I think does need to be paid attention to, because it's a tactic for SEO. Starting an affiliate program is a super big affiliate, like SEO, a product SEO tactic, and so I think that it's definitely warrants some deeper data collection and just paying attention to, for sure. Have you done anything with it, Fletch, or no?
Have not. And that's why I was curious if you had or not. I'm kind of there's some problems with testing, just because they don't, depending on how the thing's designed, no two things on the internet really alike anyway. It's what the basis of a URL is. So yeah. I actually don't do a ton of testing.
Right.
So, but there is value in it too. So
data collection and testing. See, like right here. So changing all the Amazon links on an existing campaign, to me, that's a real, that has value because it's live, right? So like paying attention to data for a large set of sites, that has value to me. I'm not huge into creating a test just to do a test, because I don't have time, not because I don't have time to do that, That's why I like having Clint around, because he never shares anything anyways, and I know he's doing it and using it against us in certain markets. So thanks, Clint. Thanks for doing that, dick.
Way to treat one of the presenters, Mike. That's real nice. That's probably gonna go to the bathroom and shed a tear now.
Yeah. No, this dude doesn't shed tears, bro. He makes
he loads clips, I think. So I would be careful.
He loads clips.
Yeah.
Don't forget on-page content. That moves the needle. Yeah, I will say,
I always start there.
Yeah.
It's cheaper.
I love what they've been doing lately. I think that it's made a lot of benefit for people that are paying attention, that are doing things properly. A lot of people are getting left behind right now. It looks like, again, it's a good time for someone to start a have everyone jump ship from SEO to Amazon back in 2010 or 11 or 12. We could start an Etsy, amazing Etsy machine
exactly.
program, dude, and move everyone over.
Facebook advertising.
Yeah, move everyone over to Etsy, dude. We got to jump ship. SEO's dead. Go to Etsy.
I'm going to Pinterest. You can go to Etsy. But
Pinterest, dude. Pinterest is the shit for sure.
I don't have an account.
Pinterest is a big part of Mike's interior design.
That's right, dude.
That's where his wife.
That's right,
dude.
His
wife derives inspiration.
Right.
So it's and then she sells it on Etsy. But
Pinterest
always pisses me off because I see the recipes, they look good. I can't get to them because I don't have an account signed in on my phone. I've got a bunch of spam accounts, I'm sure, but nothing signed in on my phone. I'm sitting there clicking, trying to get to it. I'll send it to Kelsey and try. Can you take a screenshot of this? Or she'll she'll send me a Pinterest recipe. Can you make this? Yeah, sure. And I can't fucking bring it up. So Pinterest is good for me.
No, this is spot on, though. I mean, and I think everyone in here would agree. Like, to me, there's a process that has to be followed, and you better damn well be working your content groups, your on page before you're spending too much time and budget off page. I mean, you do a few things and do the on page right, you're bringing in revenue already before you're dropping like a lot of link budget anyways, dude. I don't know. I still think that that's, to me, the most money we've made is because of our content game. I think that our content game and our on-page game is what's done
the largest results for clients by far has been the content.
I guess you're right. I guess I'm not thinking of certain spam things. Okay, throw it all out. Client work, doing website SEO, content has been major increases, especially when you find a site that I love finding them, but has done off page, has done all this, but sucks at their content game and their on page game. And you get in there and you're a winner in freaking 2 days because you get in there and implement a plan. I mean, those are freaking
What's funny
great.
is even with those clients, they're doing exactly what Google is telling them to do. They're writing engaging content. They're publishing on a continuous basis. You know, they've got a schedule. They've got all these posts. But these small tweaks that we know about, they haven't done, then we can come in and everything else is taken care of on a silver platter and we look like rock stars, like you said.
For these percentages, I think I'm going to have everyone do a percentage. I think it's 100% content and 100% links. So mine's 200%. What are you guys?
Well, like one of the things, like I look at this, it's like, it's all on page because everything on the internet is on a page. Right. And so, you know, it's kind of cheating to get around that. But, you know, some of it's going to be a link to a different site. Some of it's going to be a link to a different page. Some of it's going to be a URI link down further in the page. So, you know, I consider links really to be on page. You know, I think we've drawn an unnecessary distinction between those two elements because anchor text is anchor text. It lives on a page that's influencing not only that page, but by influencing that page's meaning to a bot, it influences things it's pointing to, or places on the page it's pointing to, or other websites it's pointing to. So that's kind of how I look at it.
You made a really good point because I think some of the most agonizing decisions I've had to make in SEO have been like changing an anchor text that's pointing to another internal page. Mm-hmm. When I'm looking at things like cannibalization and various things, like deciding what to do and how it's going to affect the domino, like the domino effect of that always freaks me out for some reason, dude. And so absolutely it is. That's why I don't use it anymore, but I have always called them backlink pages because it's pages, man. It's straight up the on page connecting to the on page, the node to the node, the whatever you want to call it, the edge that's coming through. Your tier structure, the on page in your tier 2 is affecting the on page and your money on your target page. Like all of this is affecting what's happening throughout there. So when we have an update like this, that's why we're seeing targeted loss on queries. It's not necessarily dropping the whole site at once everywhere. There's more loss on targeted queries because all of a sudden there's targeted optimization that no longer affects their understanding. They drop the context of and the connection from one page to another. Now this is no longer connected. So now what you're doing is you're ranking without that connection. And so you're not being penalized. You're being rescored, resorted, and put into the spot where you now belong. And we can say that that's not fair, but it's Google's business. It's their rules. You're where you belong based on what they've decided.
Did you see earnings for Google? They kicked ass. It was
Did
insane. They beat like by double digits on everything but the cloud, I think, and it was still they beat by 3%. Insane. They're raking in money. It's crazy. I expect those long-winded emails coming from you soon, Fletch.
Which ones?
Based on
Yes,
The way I
those
look at this is,
those are
well, not
different emails
long-winded.
from that
They're
conversation.
well thought out. They're good emails, but they're
He does a damn good job. What he does, man, he's very talented. The numbers are arbitrary. I know the numbers are arbitrary. That's why I said 100 and 100. I do totally believe that it's page-based page, and you can't get away from. It's like when people in the group ask, like, how, they say they don't understand linking, they don't know what anchor text to use. Like, I do believe that if it's a topical page, you can use a branded anchor text. If it's a non-topical page, get some context in the anchor to make a connection between the stuff. So. Again, that's why we've always tossed out the revenge of the mini-net stuff, because of the connections between cats and posters, right? When you want to make a cat, a page about a cat breed relevant to a website about posters, well, then you have a page about cat posters, right? So, I mean, or you have a page about the specific, you have a section about cat posters and a page about the specific breed, even better, going over to the website, right?
Yeah.
So, my least favorite part about client work is explaining relevance to them. If they look at any kind of backlink report or anything, this has nothing to do with it. Well, it does, and blah, blah, and they're like, I'm like, you're up like 30-40% for the month. What are you complaining about? But this link,
Well, that's when you get into the classic argument of, okay, well, you're the one that had the problem to start with. If you're the expert, you don't need my help. So, let's reframe it. And I got a client right now that is it's not the client itself. It's like what they're putting on their marketing team is we've I don't know, probably 4x everything, and she's doing Facebook advertising and YouTube, and we ran some paid, and we're doing SEO. They're crushing it, and she's still getting hounded like, why aren't we moving the needle? And she's like, well, look, here's the numbers right here, and they're trying, and they spend hours and hours telling their somebody in the market, and these are doctors, like, this is how you got to do it. This is what you got to do. And meanwhile, the needles are being moved, and that is one of the things is showing clients certain things, and that's why I always keep our report card is like the same thing, right? It's like keyword eligibility, traffic, and rank for the keywords that we're targeting. So that's the report card that anyone who does SEO should be presenting to clients, because if it's not doing those things, then it's really not SEO, right? I mean, of course you want sales, and that's when conversion rate optimization comes in and everything else. But explaining this kind of stuff to clients can sometimes just it can be meaningless. And when they ask how many backlinks, we've been in this scenario several times, right, fellas? Like, how many backlinks are we going to get a month? What are the quality of the backlinks? Where are they going to come from? And the answer to that is always, of course, as many as it takes. But we're not looking at a number of backlinks because you just spent $5 on Fiverr and got 10,000 backlinks, and things got worse.
How many do you want? Yeah.
you think we should go out and get
worse do you want to do?
Should we go get 1 million of those backlinks?
Let's fuck this shit up. Yeah.
You think 5 backlinks, the ones that we're going to get you, are going to do way better than your 10,000 backlinks that you just got from.
I'm going to be fielding a question either. I think it will be next Tuesday for someone on Brad and I are helping someone with a campaign, and their client has asked about the UR of the pages on the website after we've had a visibility growth of like 900% in the last 3 weeks, right? And they're concerned about the Ahrefs UR rating or UR score, which is very interesting to me.
Well, they were extremely excited when they saw links coming in the beginning. They're like, yes, these guys are doing something.
It's interesting what people, if someone decides to touch SEO and like say they come in from a get rich quick scheme or get a business at home, they take a couple clients, how easy it is to not understand what you're doing without really putting time in to understand what you're supposed to be doing. There are major firms that are coming from other places where I see them talking about, and Corey's seen this recently too, talking about domain authority as a factor and making decisions based on domain authority and moving all of the backlink profile commercially to the homepage versus spread out through the rest of the website. The domain authority on the homepage, the domain authority is so important. Let's pull all of the links from the commercial pages and stick them all on one page, right? And make a decision like that. I guess we can all guess what happens when you move all the backlinks to a single page with all the commercial anchor text.
Well, we know what happens when a client does a redesign and fucks up the internal linking as well. We've seen that
without doing like 301s or
yes. They're like, can we do a redesign? I'm like, don't fuck it up. Okay, we won't. All right. And then they're like, why are the rankings dropping? Oh, you fucked it up. So,
this one, I have a little factoid, and I wonder if Clint has anything to say here. The claim review for the rich fact check requirements have changed. And I wonder if Clint has any updates over on his site about that crap. So if he's here, just answer that. So it used to be able to claim multiple reviews on a single page, and they've changed those requirements to an individual review per page. So I wonder if that's being tested somewhere, is what I wonder, if that is a fact. I'm assuming it is because it's markup. Usually I don't question.
Yeah, if it's markup, that's the difference, is that if it's in the HTML, then people are going to be, you want people to see multiple reviews on the page. It just depends on how, what the markup looks like on the site. But I haven't seen anything like that, because really, like the reviews, like I love reviews because you sneak a bunch of keywords in there and in the markup that actually show up in the in the SERPs. So
the change was it used to be a single page can host multiple claim review elements, each for a separate claim. The new one is to be eligible for the single fact check rich result. A page must only have one claim review element. If you add multiple claim review elements per page, that page will not be eligible for the single fact check rich result. So it's actually the rich result of the fact check that they're addressing. So basically they're saying that if you mark it up for multiple on a page, they're not going to make you eligible for that rich result. But if you are just targeting one, that they will. So I'd like to see if anyone has hard data on it. Page. Yeah, exactly. But no, it's so who's been link building this week? Anyone in here been link building this week? And I'm wondering what kind of tactics.
I'm sure we have.
We have for sure. What's interesting is I talked to somebody in the members area that was talking about a lot of 2.0s, and I got into the fact of talking about that. Don't be focusing, and I thought this would be good to talk about. Effort being focused on creating content when someone has a business, if they're creating content, and what are your thoughts if they're focusing on putting the content that they created on 2.0 platforms rather than going out, putting it on their own website, putting it on maybe another website, even through outreach, if they only get 1 or 2 a week? Like, thoughts on putting a bunch of content on 2.0s by hand versus going out, creating content on page and putting content on other websites that are top level TLD.
So it's like one or the other and not both. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like focused on the 2.0. Like, what are your thoughts there? Like, is that a good practice or no?
I give it 2 thumbs down.
I think it's a waste of time. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily a complete waste of time. I will say that you're missing out on a huge opportunity, because I've seen people do that where you click on the blog and it takes them over to Medium, or it takes them over to it's somewhere besides the actual website. So the first no of doing that is you're sending traffic away from your money site. Like, that's the last thing that you want to do, right?
This is my key point here. It's a good practice if you have the resources. This is like a situation where someone doesn't have the resources to buy a backlink. So like, if they can't go out and purchase backlinks, should they be spending time putting content on a 2.0 if they don't have budget? When they're spending time creating content, they're putting it somewhere else that is a 2.0 in value versus putting it on something like you said that's maybe a little bit more value or on their own website, right? And let's say there's not budget to do this.
I'd rather just put budget into content generation on my own site.
That's where I'm at.
Take over the long tail stuff.
But what about your let's say you're doing that and then you just syndicate it out to your web 2.0, so you can just
I do that all the time, man.
Push it out to other 2.0. There's stuff you don't even have to do manually. Like, you can automate that. Just take your RSS, Push it out to Twitter.
So what I will say is I think a better strategy there would be putting it on your own website and going and getting a post somewhere indexed in a couple hours and having that post in the long tail query set for that informational group, that context group. So like putting it on my website and then sharing that in key places where I know there's traffic, where I know Google indexes the post very quickly, where I know eyes will see it. I would probably rather do that than go out and create a 2.0 and throw it on the 2.0. That's me though. So
I go the auto syndication route, like Corey mentioned, is what I.
This is a good way to say it. 2.0 we can consider whatever. Let's consider social and 2.0 the same thing. What I'm saying is if you can post it on your website, take a snippet of it, put it on the 2.0 with another snippet off of your website, do your 2.0 content through a mashup like that rather than writing your content directly and putting it on the 2.0. Utilizing that to generate traffic, I think, is the smarter aspect than wasting the time to pull the content up and then waste the time to create a 2.0 by hand and stick the content on there. I think building your property when you're in the stages like right here, once you have your entity established, building that long tail set, building those contact groups on your site, I think have more long-term benefit than creating a profile of now keep doing 2.0s and doing 2.0s in a tiered structure as well.
So you're going back to DAS, like just like a,
DAS is what it is. Like you go back to what domain authority stacking was. I don't think it's beneficial to do it that way. I think it's more
that way in a while, yeah.
More beneficial to put it on your website and to utilize other properties to generate traffic for that content piece or that content group.
Agreed.
What about relevant media ranking for long tail with tier? Oh, absolutely. Like once you get into resources, we're talking specifically about not having the resources to create a tiered structure or not having the budget to create a tiered structure. So without those resources is what we're talking about. With those resources, this is where I start to think a guest post has value. This is where I start to think a press release has value. If I'm building links, I'm not building links that don't have that value behind it already, personally. But if I'm going to build content on my site, distribute it out into 2.0, distribute out into social, I'm going to start to push those pages as much as possible, 100%. That's the whole point of doing a mini net. The mini net not only, or the infinite, not only is a group of websites that you control, it's also the groups around those websites. I mean, we're just talking about continued content groups. So I think this is a super beneficial strategy that Viro mentioned. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so I like the word strategy gets tossed around a lot. And so some people may think it means one thing and some people may think it means a different one. The kind of working, I say definition, not really a definition, but the idea I have of that is something that Mills, talked about and taught that I've come to understand much because I gave it a lot of thought. And which is,
if Mills talks about strategy and how to set it up, then
then that's this is the nature of what I tend to do as far as what I try to spend my time understanding. And so it is alternative use of limited resources. And just take that, write it down or whatever, and do some thinking about it. So with whatever we're doing here, we have limited resources. We only have so many hours in the day where we can pay attention to anything. And so if there's an alternative use for that time that would get you more impact and better results, then do that. If it's not clear, pick one. And if it would be worse, then why do it? Right? The reason, and you can look at like an athlete, right, who's training to get bigger, faster, and stronger, right? Well, when is the right time to start doing something other than that?
Right.
Well, when getting bigger, faster, and stronger doesn't get you more impact, doesn't get you better results on the field or the court or the whatever, that is when you start looking at, okay, so I've now reached some kind of bottleneck or threshold that I cannot get beyond by getting bigger, faster, and stronger. I need to add something else in. That is, very, you can map that over to what we're talking about with strategy for website. Do what you can do with your site until you get to a place where it's not growing anymore by doing more on site. And then you start to look at, okay, I'm at a threshold, I'm stuck, there's a bottleneck here. I need to integrate some other tactics to.
And that's Fletch, like what really got me excited, and one of the big reasons we did this event this year was some of the conversations you and I have had. Like I look at it in a similar way, but I also look at, we have gimmicks, tactics, and strategies, right? A lot of people in SEO are not at the strategy level. They are at the tactic level, or some of them, unfortunately, when they're new, are like have been sold a gimmick, and they're literally at the gimmick level, right? Yeah. And so what we're doing, like we've got people coming out.
Oh, hi, I'm a gimmick. I'm a gimmick SEO. I'd like to perform.
Dude, I'm sorry.
That would be a good agency.
I got a great gimmick for you.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear my gimmick?
Here's my
super
you
sorry.
Pay me money. I give you gimmick.
And so the whole thing that we're doing, like where Fletch is starting, like the whole event this year for us, like this is a strategy that we are implementing, guys, and there's grand strategy as well. It's not just strategy. Like you get on the grand strategy.
It would probably be much easier to sell a course, sell an event, sell whatever information-based product if you go the gimmick route, as opposed to we're going to teach you
100%
strategy.
It's not as sexy.
You can actually use. Yeah, it's not as sexy, but
I'm
already sexy enough.
If I say I've got a way where you can get 1,000 GMB listings up today, give me like 10 grand, or I've got, and it might work for 2 months, or I say, hey, give me 10 grand and I'm going to teach you how to build a business that's going to pay for your grandchildren's freaking college, right? A lot of people are not going to see beyond the fact that they can make that money very quickly, or potentially make nothing right there, versus a long-term grand strategy or strategy moving towards generational wealth, right?
Well, and also, if you look at it from a risk reversal, complete risk reversal mind frame, okay? Say you charge whatever you charge for an event, say it's even it's a high priced event, it's like $10,000, yeah, exactly. Sounds like work. Everyone wants the easy button, right? So say it's just 10 grand, right? Okay. From a risk reversal, completely taking all the risk out of it, what am I going to have to do to sell this person on, not sell them, to make this person realize that this is the right buying decision for them. So it's risk reversal. So how do I do that? What's the best way to apply risk reversal in this? Okay. Mike, do you think you could show someone with all your tactics and everything how to generate, how to build and deploy a site with very little resources that generates $200 a month? Do you think you could do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily or not? Yeah. Is it going to take a lot of work to do $200 a month for one site? Okay.
No, not really.
So $200 a month. Right now, everyone is going. I've seen sites selling for 45x monthly. I've seen consistently 35x, but let's just say it's a. Let me bring up the calculator. Let's just say it's a 28x. That's lower than whatever the market's giving right now, but 28x. So 28 times, what do we say? $200 a month?
$200 a month, right?
200. That gives you, if you've got a site right now that's generating $200 a month, that is $5,600 asset that you can then sell. So if I'm selling a $10,000
from you.
Exactly. Yeah. If I'm, you could flip that all day, to be honest.
Yeah, you can. I'd buy it in a second, dude.
Yeah. So, so if we're looking for a complete risk reversal, situation, and I'm selling a product, either it's a training program, a live event, a webinar series, something, an info product, all I've got to do to make sure that they completely pay for said product is ensure that they can build at least 2 sites that generate the $200 a month mark. So that would be my ultimate goal, would be, okay, come to this event, come to this webinar, come to, purchase this course. We're going to show you from A to Z how to set up this $200 a month site. Sounds easy, right? It does sound easy. It is easy. But that $200 a month site will parlay into a $5,600 asset. Or
Dude, and
and then you start to get 3, 4, 5.
Then you get into the strategy of that now is a second tier website that is actually being created as you create your actual money site,
Exactly.
right? So that's the difference, I think. Great point, dude. Like super good.
I mean, how many raw calls is that? Say you're getting $40 a call. I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass. We've had $40 call offers before. So 200 divided by 40. That's 5. Yes.
Corey, so give it 6 months.
4, 8, 12.
Give it less than 6 months. I can fucking generate 5 calls.
No. I'm saying give it 6 months to gather the data. You can do that in the first month is what I'm saying. Give it 6 months to gather data and you're selling it. And honestly, dude, it's not hard to make 5 freaking phone calls in a month, dude.
You can have just bullshit GMBs that are completely branded, not keyword specific at all. Don't even have like treatment center. It's not like brand plus treatment center. They will generate, I can guarantee it, 5 calls a month easily.
Yeah.
So.
And how long did that take you to put up there, right? If it's a good season, right? It took you no time whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it doesn't take me any time regardless because I just find people.
Well, especially because then what you're doing, you're tying it to the website, and now you've instantly given a website actual value that now the value is tacked onto that. And that's going to continue to grow over that 6 month period. And eventually by the time you hit that 6 month, you're going to have more value than the $200 anyways, dude. You're going to value more like 10 to 15,000, I would assume.
But I don't think that like someone looking to buy a course or looking to buy, they want these huge wins. I want to learn how to make $10,000 a month. I want to learn how to make 20,000, 30,000. No, focus on 200 a month and then parlay that into something and then put that revenue that you generate off of a site sale or whatever back into it and generate $500, $600, $700, $800 a month, and then keep going from there and just keep continually.
And then from there, what you could do, and this is what I like to do on sites like that, is that let's throw some paid traffic at it and collect some more data, and then now you have another profit center. Once that paid becomes something that is actually, obviously in an unrestricted market. And
those ads that you can export from AdWords are an asset that you can include in the sale.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at is that, now you have another profit center, which is that optimized ad campaign. And that becomes something that's, equally as valuable because, let's say one of them goes, let's say the site happens to go down, it gets hacked or whatever. Some redundancy when you're selling something like that is probably worth more like.
It absolutely is. And this is why this I think we're making a very strong point for what Fletch said. And we were talking about, we used a gimmick to generate the calls right there with the GMB with the hack to get it approved, tied it to a website, then created PPC there. So now we've got multiple tactics. We've got a website with SEO. We've got PPC right there. We have a strategy now, right? And that strategy now has created a website that's valued at $15,000 in 6 months, okay? So what Fletch said
is I've actually, as far as building out assets around each property, I've been testing, and I'll have to go over it with you at some point, Mike. It's funny because I've been generating calls from the supporting assets that are not the primary websites, and it always amazes me. I'm like, this was a conversion because it just paid for this one citation or whatever, just paid for the site cost.
People miss out like the whole point. Citations, SEO. I've got my SEO blinder on, right? I've got my SEO blind. I'm just going to go spam citations. Citations. I don't care about it. And you're talking about right now, you basically told everyone when they do that, they're missing revenue. This is why I tell people when we get on a campaign, I promise you we'll make you 20% more. If
you don't do the correct citations, you're missing out on. If you do the easy citations that are instant approval, and that's all you do, you skip the harder ones, then you're definitely missing out on revenue.
Yep.
If you reverse that and focus on the ones that could actually generate calls, i.e. revenue, then that's where you take it. I mean, you're just generating, say it generates, I don't know, for a low offer that's paying like $10 a conversion, maybe like Payday or something like that. Say you have all these properties and each set generates an extra, 5 calls a month. That's an extra $50 towards your $200 a month. We're quarter of the way fucking there, in order to build your 5.6K asset on a low end. So it's just different ways of thinking about stuff. I feel like everyone tries to overreach sometimes when I feel like they would be much better served to start slow and, okay, I'm going to make sure that I can get something up that's generating $200 or $300 a month. And then from there, I can parlay that into bigger things. And also there's a question about where to sell the sites. Empire Flippers, honestly, is the most, in my opinion.
I was going to say something. FE International, there's some good stuff. Honestly, if you've got sites like those kind of ranges, I would appreciate you emailing us about that stuff, to be honest. Also, I did want to say that if you are involved with anyone that's had issues with COVID, issues with these updates, and they're kind of thinking about closing their doors or want to kind of walk, that we're really interested in talking to people that are looking at, that are potentially having issues, especially because of COVID, and seeing how we can help them out.
COVID and the updates. Yeah. I mean, if the sites have dropped significantly, the site's traffic and revenue has dropped significantly. They don't know what to do with it. Thinking about maybe even closing the doors on the website, like you said. Let us know. We
would be really interested.
Might be looking to buy, might be looking to partner, might be, whatever. Might be looking to just help you out. It's I've seen Mike recover. Is it in the hundreds now, or is it still dozens?
No, it's freaking high right now, dude. It's got to be close to that 3 mark, that 3-digit mark.
And that's just since December. So
and what we're looking at is like the process. I'm really excited to get everyone out there in September, dude, because the process right now, it's like people have been they're getting left behind, like we were talking about the links, and
it's a slow degradation. Yeah.
When you take this process and you turn it in, and you take these tactics and you take these gimmicks and you turn it into a process, and you have the right people like that you talk to, it's pretty amazing the difference in the marketing and the money that's generated. Like, I'm really excited for like Corey and Fletch and for Leo. And dude, actually, I'm now thinking that what you just talked about with the citations might need to be looked at as part of this event, bro.
I don't know if I want to share that.
We might need to, dude. I might need to twist your arm to some extent, dude. To some extent, but we'll see. I might have to try to talk you into some of it. So, but yeah, no, I'm excited. Even if that's just a conversation with the right people at dinner, dude.
James,
one thing.
There will be a live stream as long as we can get some. We need a film crew. Unless maybe we'll just live stream it from a laptop, just like we're doing right here.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at the live stream and whether we do it or not, usually we don't do any kind of recording live stream or anything. This year with COVID, I'm kind of on the fence. Mike and I have been talking about it.
Only because of the UK and some of the countries that can't travel yet.
Yeah, so we want to put that into effect. Of course, it adds a lot of cost on the event and everything, but like hiring an entire crew. So it's something we're still discussing at the moment. But if we can, we will do it. And if we
I will say that getting there, if you can, is important because of the workshop, like 100%.
The workshop.
Like if we do the workshop,
if you're in the UK, all you got to do is go down to Mexico. You can sneak in through the southern border. Anywhere from anywhere.
Can you sneak it
stuck in a cage?
I think that's a problem. Let me out of here. With the British accent. I am not Mexican.
I've got a couple people I wanted to have speak that can't make it because they have people in their life that they don't want to travel. They don't want to risk their health and everything. So we understand it's a hard time right now. I figured out, like, dude, I have COVID again, dude.
You do right now?
You've gotten the
third fucking time, dude.
Didn't you get
and you're fine. That's
I do, but I don't have symptoms.
You have no COVID.
I'm not sick. All that happened this time is I lost my taste.
I saw Disneyland, and I think that's just your wife's cooking. I think Disneyland and Apple are instating masks again. Vaccinated.
People are freaking out because of that Delta variant, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Delta 8.
it's less deadly.
Holly actually will be there, and Holly will be teaching there. So
Yeah.
Holly will be there, and she's going to. So here's the thing: like we've got things like Publisher Center, we've got Merchant Center, all these things that Google gives us as tools that people don't pay attention to. Holly's done some really cool stuff with Publisher Center, and there's some things that she hasn't shown and things she hasn't done that are going to be really interesting to go over that tie into the strategy that Brad and I have kind of been putting together for years. We've updated and tweaked it for this event, and because of the actual last month and a half, specifically, key portions have been tweaked in the process because it's more profitable. So I think we hit the time.
Sell, or it's more profitable to run a site.
No, to run the sites, dude. Like so, that's why. Shit, yeah. You know me.
Don't try and scare people, Mike. Come on, that's not our. But yeah. I mean, where did you and I first meet, Mike? Where did our eyes first lock?
So we met at an event, right? Dude, at Jimmy's event, where, dude, that was fun, dude. Remember, unfortunately, it's also the first time you saw me sitting in a gutter.
No, I didn't see you sitting in a gutter. I was sick that day. Remember?
No, Mike Long was there. It wasn't you. Never mind. It was Mike Long. Mike Long.
Yeah, we look alike. Thanks.
Sitting
that was that one down in Austin. Is that
the
one
That's where I met you, Fletch. I met you, Brad, Cotton, Mike. Yeah. That's where I met all of you guys.
Portfolio was there, I think, too. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike was buying everyone drinks, and then I remember I got back to the room. We had gone through, I think, the first day, and we were going into the second day, and I lay down, and it feels like the room is spinning like a freaking fan. I was like,
that's a bad feeling.
Oh no, this is gonna be bad. I remember like running past Fletch to go take a nap and puke. Going back to my hotel room on a break or something. I was like, I'm still wasted. I gotta go lay down. You know,
dude.
I was cussing out Mike Long the whole time. I was like, I blame him. He was popping ciders and shit. Like it messed me up.
Can I get a cider? That's Gary from Australia. Lived in New York. Can I get a cider? Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you for today. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yo, Mike, drop the link.
You know what? Let me grab that. That's
I dropped it in the private chat. Put it up for anyone that wants to come to the.
Perfect. Actually, tonight there is going to be some cool talk on some of the stuff that we'll go in a little bit deeper into some of the stuff we talked to about today, and it will be quite a bit of fun. If you can make it tonight or tomorrow, I would recommend jumping in there. About an hour, maybe more. I don't know how much time it'll be, but there's definitely stuff to go over tonight. So have a good one. Take care. See you soon.